I loved and we're live right now. Jack's telling me that I'm crying over a river because I started Derek Carr in our league. I'm not mad that I started Derek Carr. Marcus Mariota had 27 points in our league. If Derek Carr starts, all I needed at a Carr was 20 points, and I totally would have taken that.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have gotten it too.
Yeah. Welcome in, everyone. Fantasy Football Laboratory live here. Week 15 semifinals. Getting your lineup set, ready to go for these must-win matchups. Win or go home at this point. I said it to Lucas. I'll say it to everyone else here. At this point in the season, when you're asking your questions today, give us a general scenario of what you're in right now, because I think right now all lineups are relative to the situation that you're in. If you started Keenan Allen and you're going up against Josh Allen, you're definitely going to need some more upside. If you have already some high upside players that already hit, then maybe you want some more consistency. You'd play it safe a little bit. So give us like a quick overview of your roster and of your current situation, so that way we can better help you guys set your lineups for what you need to win this week. And as I get this tweet sent out, someone else say something.
Okay. Yeah. Lucas, you had a question earlier. We were going back and forth here. At the beginning, at the top here, about Lynn Bowden versus Ezekiel Elliott. Now, Shane and Lucas, I know you guys are both down on Zeke. I'm down on Zeke. The carries haven't been there, and Zeke's a guy that needs volume. Yeah. He's a good producer, but in that offense that's not producing that well, he needs volume to produce. Ezekiel Elliott still has to go over Lynn Bowden, though, and we were talking about how Lynn Bowden's fading a little bit just because those Dolphins are looking a bit healthier now.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. I've been high on Lynn Bowden all week, but all of that has been dependent on if the Dolphins are going to be healthy or not. If Jakeem Grant doesn't play, if Devontae Parker doesn't play, one of those guys, if Myles Gaskin or Salvin Ahmed, Gaskin's not playing, but Ahmed might be playing. If neither of those guys play, even if just one of those guys sits out, I like Lynn Bowden a lot more. The issue is it's looking like not a single one of those guys is going to sit out. Granted, we don't know what it's going to look like with Ahmed. Ahmed, when he played, obviously got the lion's share of the load. He's been out for several weeks, and it's not like he's an established name. I could see a situation in which Ahmed's a non-factor. Even if he's healthy, I don't know how high of a chance that is, and it's just I'm concerned. Right now in my rankings, I still have Lynn Bowden exactly one spot above Zeke, and I originally did that on purpose because I fully intended to go into this week playing Lynn Bowden above Zeke. But at this point, with how healthy the Dolphins are, I just don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I told you that I particularly liked Lynn Bowden over Zeke, but it's very close. I have Zeke. If you want a sense of how I feel about Zeke this week, I have him one spot ahead of Sony Michel at the moment. So I don't trust him. Lucas, you and I talked about it. He hasn't had a rushing touchdown since Dak was playing. So, I mean, he found the end zone week 11 receiving, but besides that, he just hasn't gotten it done. At this point, I really don't know if I can trust him in my lineup. There are a lot of other options, even over Lynn Bowden, that I would go with. I know this is our league, so probably Jeff Wilson Jr. isn't available, but I would go with him over Zeke at the moment right now. Who else would I go? I mean, I still would have McKissick over Zeke, even with Haskins playing. So there's still a few names that I would go with over Zeke, but I don't. Lynn Bowden's a close one. You got yourself a close one there. And I see we do have a lot of questions coming in at this point. So let's get to some of them here. First one from Richard. Wayne Gallman, Leonard Fournette, and Kenyan Drake need to in Standard League. For me, oh, wow, this is actually a good question. I'll go with Kenyan Drake for sure. Jack, I think Drake was your boom of the week. Chase Edmonds is questionable, very questionable at the moment. He wants to play. He's going to.
I think he's going to play.
Well, he wanted to test out his I forget what it was, but his injury in practice today or in warm-ups before he got going.
Yeah, there was a report this morning saying he wanted to play and that it was looking like he was going to play, and then that's been backtracked a little bit, basically saying it's going to be a test. It's going to be a game-time decision before warm-up. So I give it a 50-50 chance. Wayne Gallman's been really good. Leonard Fournette's going to have the touches there. I put Leonard Fournette on the last out of those three just because I think LaShawn McCoy is going to take some of the receiving touches. We've seen Leonard Fournette drop some
there who will probably get a few touches.
Exactly. So, and then Kenyan Drake, if Edmonds is out, I think he's the guy to go. Wayne Gallman, he's been putting up the yardage. I love Fournette this week, but not as much as I love those other two guys. Wayne Gallman's been putting up the yardage. He's been getting a ton of carries in that offense. overall, I think he's another start too.
Yep, I've got Wayne Gallman at 14. I've got Drake at 15 with assuming Chase Edmonds plays. If Chase Edmonds doesn't play, Kenyan Drake goes up even more. I've got Leonard Fournette at 19, just like the other guys. I like Leonard Fournette, but Wayne Gallman and Kenyan Drake are the best options there.
Drake and Gallman are your plays of the day for that one. Next question here, Tyler Lockett or Emmanuel Sanders, Hockenson or Jared Cook? Said it at the top of the show. I'm going to say it again now. A lot of these questions are now relative to what you need and what your lineup and what your matchup is looking like. So if you need a high upside play like a Tyler Lockett, I would probably go with that. If you want some safety, some floor there.
Go Lockett. I think Lockett's floor is the same as Emmanuel Sanders, if not better.
I mean, I think they're both in for good matchups. I think the potential for a shootout and more targets and more yards is in favor of Emmanuel Sanders there going up against the Chiefs. I would go with Lockett on this one regardless. Yeah. And the tight end is Hockenson, no doubt.
Yep, 100%. Lockett and Hockenson, I think, are your best options there.
Yep.
Need one. Zeke Elliott, Sony Michel, or Leonard Fournette. Standard answers Fournette here. Yep. Yeah. We can talk about Sony Michel for a second because Damian Harris is out for this game. You have Michel obviously there. Cam Newton could end up being the number one running back on this team this week. And obviously James White. But do you guys like Sony Michel as a potential RB3?
No.
Not at all. No. I mean, I haven't even ranked him yet, but if I do, he's going to be outside RB3 range. But Damian Harris was an RB3 just because of how productive he was with the touches that he got, right? He was getting somewhere between 10 and 20 rush attempts every single game, typically 10 and 15, 0 receptions. Sony Michel is still not going to get any receptions. I also expect him to get fewer rush attempts, though. Bill Belichick does not like Sony Michel at this point, and I don't think he's going to run Sony Michel all that much in this game.
Plus, James White is still there. He's listed as questionable right now, but he's probably going to play. I mean, there's just so many guys in that backfield that could possibly take carries away from Sony Michel. It's dwindling. There's less guys there than there was before, but overall, that Patriots offense just isn't good enough to sustain a ton of production if they're sharing carries out of that backfield.
And like you said, Shane, Cam Newton is also a running back and will probably be their RB1 this week.
Alrighty, next question here. Tyler Lockett, Chris Godwin, or Corey Davis need one in standard league. Typically I have Corey Davis ranked as the highest among all these guys, but when it comes to standard and wide receivers, you usually want the guy who could probably boom the most. And I know you guys will probably say Lockett. I'm going to say Godwin just because I like the matchup for Godwin. I think Godwin could see 10-plus targets today, and what he does with that, maybe over 100 receiving yards, maybe a touchdown. I think that's more in the realm of possibilities than for Lockett right now.
I don't dislike that, Shane. Obviously, I'm going to drop Godwin a bit in a standard league. I'm not going to go with Lockett, though. I'm going to go with the other one. I'm going to go with Corey Davis. I think if you if you're looking at who can boom the most, I think Lockett can boom the most. He's proved this year he can boom more than any wide receiver not named Tyreek Hill. Is he going to do that? I don't know. He hasn't done it in a while. Corey Davis, on the other hand, has been more consistently booming. If you get what I'm saying, like he'll put up 20 points. He has more consistently than Tyler Lockett this season, which is why I'm going to go with Corey Davis. Corey Davis is a risk. I'm going to be honest, but in a standard league, I think he's got a better shot of producing some of those the higher receiving yards than Chris Godwin or Tyler Lockett at this point.
Yeah, I'll bounce off that. I'm going to say Tyler Lockett. We're not really giving you a whole lot to work with here. But Tyler Lockett has by far the biggest upside out of any of those guys. I understand the Corey Davis argument. I'm going to fade Godwin. There's too many mouths to feed in that offense in a standard league for me. I think Evans is the top red zone target there. You're looking for touchdowns a lot in the standard league. So I'm a little bit out on that because I think this could also be an Antonio Brown game. Corey Davis, I think, is a legitimate play against the Lions. That's a great play, but I'm still not seeing as high of a ceiling. Tyler Lockett, for me, ceiling's so high, the floor is still there. He's a big catch kind of guy. I could see him having a really big game today. Russell Wilson's got to start cooking if the Seahawks want to start winning some more football games. So I guess
he's not, and even if he is, when he is cooking, he's not throwing it to Tyler Lockett. He's throwing it almost exclusively to DK Metcalf. It's like watching the game, you just don't see Tyler Lockett get the ball or get targeted as much as he should for the talent that he is. Corey Davis, on the other hand, I think, look, he did have a down week last week. The matchup is so good there against the Lions. I really think, you're going to have Derrick Henry. Obviously, the Lions are going to have to sell out to try and stop Derrick Henry. And then I think that's going to leave Corey Davis and A.J. Brown open for a lot of big plays.
Jack, you think every game could be an Antonio Brown game? That's
I
not
do.
a fair
It's got to happen at some point. He's too talented for it not to happen at some point. And they target him the most out of any receiver. At some point, it might be in the playoffs. It might be this week. It might be next week. He is going to have a big game here.
Could be in the Super Bowl. We shall see. Let's move on here. Need a wide receiver in half PPR and a flex. Terry McLaurin, Amari Cooper, Kenyan Drake, DAndre Swift. I'm going to go with Swift. I'm half PPR. I think I might go with the two running backs here. Definitely Swift, 100%. Love Swift.
No. They need a wide receiver and a flex.
Oh, I'm stupid. I'm sorry about that. I'll go with Terry, Scary Terry then. I think Haskins helps him. I saw some stats today that he does play better with Haskins than with Smith, and that makes total sense after starting Terry the past few weeks and not seeing the production that I'm used to seeing with him. And I'll go with Swift. I think that's a definite there.
Man, we're really not helping a whole lot of people out here. I like Amari Cooper a lot this week, and I like him more than McLaurin. Overall, Cooper's numbers have been pretty solid week to week. He's scored touchdowns in his past 3 games. He's by far the top receiving target there. His past 3 games, target number-wise, have gone 8, 9, 5, but he's catching a lot of them. He's been good recently. Double-digit points in PPR. I know this is half PPR, so you're looking at a little bit less, but overall, he's been solidly consistent. He's getting above 50 yards in nearly every single game, and he's finding the end zone. I think Cooper has to be the wide receiver play there.
Listen, Terry's going against the Seahawks. That's the best matchup you could ask for a wide receiver. And again, Haskins is starting at quarterback. That helps him.
That's fair.
Look, it's close. It's very close. I, in fact, have Amari Cooper and Terry McLaurin back-to-back in my rankings. Of course, those are PPR rankings. I'm going to go with McLaurin for the wide receiver, and the running backs. Half PPR makes that tough. If it's full PPR, I'm saying Swift all day, especially if Edmonds plays. If Edmonds doesn't play, it gets even closer. I'm probably going to go with Swift at this point as well. I think Swift, when he gets the workhorse back type of workload, which I expect him to get this week, Swift is one of the most talented running backs in the league. So I'm going to go with DAndre Swift and Terry McLaurin on this one.
He doesn't even need that to end up being an RB2 even, because last week 7 rush attempts, still scored a touchdown, still saw some pass attempts and caught some balls there, and finished with over 12 points in PPR. So not too much more you can ask for there.
Yep.
Next question here, Hurts or Cousins? I'm going to go with Hurts. I think Hurts will end up with a big day today. At the very least, he's going to run the ball 10 times, and whatever he does with that, plus throwing the ball, I think he could end up as a top 10 quarterback play.
Yep.
Fine by me.
Next question here, Logan or Engram, and why? Thank you. I know Evan Engram going into tonight's game is currently questionable, and obviously Daniel Jones isn't playing. So that means that Colt McCoy will be starting at quarterback. And also, Freddie Kitchens is the offensive coordinator tonight for the New York Giants. So it's going to be a very interesting game. That's why I don't know if you guys saw, I'm very, very, very high on Baker Mayfield today. I really think Baker could drop 4 touchdowns on the Giants defense. No Bradbury tonight for them. He's on the COVID list. And he probably wants to stick it to Kitchens. But for this question here, I'm going to go with Logan Thomas. I'm not the highest on Thomas this week. I'm not the highest on either of these two guys. If you have a Cole Kmet or Irv Smith Jr. on your waiver wire, I'd go with either of them over these two. But Thomas probably has the better chance to see success in his game against the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Just overall, the matchup, scoring numbers should be higher in that game. There's just too many question marks right now with Evan Engram, and it's looking like he's going to play in that game, but overall, I don't know if you can wait that out and just hope for the best, and if he doesn't play, then you're in trouble. So I'll go with Logan Thomas.
Yeah, Logan Thomas has definitely looked better. His target numbers have gone up the last 2 weeks. I think with Dwayne Haskins, I'm a little bit more concerned, but at this
you should be. That's why I faded him a little bit, because
exactly.
when you look at the numbers, he didn't really help Thomas that much when he was playing at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, well, Thomas had some good games at the beginning of the season, but it was very hit or miss. I'll go with Logan on this one as well, but they're very close.
Yes, Chase Edmonds, ankle injury. We will see what happens with him. Next question here, Russ or Hurts, and Lockett or Hilton. I'll take the wide receiver one first. T.Y. Hilton's the play there. Dropped 25 fantasy points in PPR. Last time he played the Texans. I don't know if he could do that again, but he could certainly get above 15 for you. Lockett, you never know, especially in that tough matchup against Washington. Sticking with that tough matchup against Washington, you have Russell Wilson there or Jalen Hurts. Honestly, if you want the upside, if you need upside in this matchup, I would go with Hurts. I really would. If you faced the Josh Allen and started Keenan Allen, I would go with Hurts there if you really need to win. If not, if you want consistency, safe floor, 15 points. If you need 15 points from your quarterback, I'd probably go with Russ there.
I agree with everything Shane said.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And then receiver-wise, looking at Ty versus Lockett, it's so close for those two.
I don't think so.
You're saying
Ty at this point. I've got to go
Ty by at least 8 spots in my rankings right now.
Well, I actually have Lockett right above him, just a couple spots above him. I think they're both solid plays. I think Hilton, once again, you talk about having that floor. I think Hilton has a better floor, but obviously Lockett has a higher ceiling.
Yeah, I've got Ty, I think 5 spots above.
I don't think Lockett has a better – I mean, as a receiver, yes, Lockett has the better ceiling. In this matchup that he has today, no, I think T.Y. Hilton has the better ceiling against the Texans than Lockett does against the football team.
That's fair.
Next question here, Jeff Wilson, Zeke, Higgins, or Cutie at flex. I don't know if this is T. Higgins or Rashard Higgins, and that really matters because I do really like Rashard Higgins tonight, especially again since Bradbury's not playing, and I think Baker Mayfield goes off. Wow. Jeff Wilson, obviously Mostert's playing. I think they're going to split carries like they've been the past few weeks. So if Jeff Wilson gets 14 touches against the Dallas Cowboys defense, I would take that over, I think, all the rest of these options here.
I'm leaning Zeke, actually. I think I understand he's starting to share carries, but he's also been hurt.
He's still hurt. That's the issue.
He still is hurt, but he's practiced this week. He's questionable. Man, that's so tough there because if Zeke plays, he should be the guy. If Zeke gets his full workload, he should be the guy. But I don't know.
Jeff Wilson is questionable.
What'd you say?
You said Jeff Wilson is hurt?
No, Zeke.
Oh, I was going to say, no, Jeff Wilson's healthy.
Yeah, no, Zeke is still questionable going into this game. So
yeah, that's why it's even more of a reason to go Jeff Wilson here. If anything, Mostert's the one that you should be worried about. Mostert came into this game.
I have Wilson above Mostert this week.
That should be the play then, Lucas. If you say that he's above Mostert, then Wilson has to be the play here.
Yeah, go with Wilson. I like it's risky no matter what you do, but I think Wilson's as safe as you can get. And I mean, if that's Rashard Higgins, if you want a high ceiling, you're going to go Rashard Higgins or Kiki Kuti. But I think Jeff Wilson's overall the play there.
I think in his career, Kiki's had 3 100-yard games, and all 3 have come against the Colts. Fun fact for you right there.
Really?
Yeah, so face the Colts again today. You never know.
Never know.
Chad Hansen's day, though. It's a Chad Hansen day. Moving on here, we have Drake or Akers and Flex.
Not even a question.
Playing Cook and Taylor at running back. Yeah, it's Akers here. Love Akers. Love Akers on that one. Mostert or Cup, full point PPR, starting Akers as well. Nice man. I'm going with Cup. I heard reports that Jared Goff might be throwing the ball a little bit more today, at least to start off the game, just to get his confidence up going into the playoffs. Jets are obviously a very easy matchup for him. So I could see Kupp getting at least 8 targets in this one, maybe catches 6 of those for 70-ish yards and maybe a touchdown. So definitely I think Kupp is the move there.
Yep.
All right, next question here. T.Y., Woods, or Connor for flex? Take out Connor. He's not even an option here. It's between T.Y. and Woods. I currently have Woods at wide receiver. I think I have him at 18 and T.Y. at 20. So I'm going to go with Woods. Both have great matchups. Both have blow-up ability. Again, just talked about Goff throwing the ball a little bit more. Woods also does get some rushing attempts, which is nice to see. But I think they're very close. I don't think you could go wrong with either one of them.
It depends on what you need. Again, if you need someone to really, really boom, T.Y. is going to be the guy that you go. If you want a little bit of the safer option, even though T.Y. has been very, very good the last 3 weeks, every week before that, he was terrible. You know, there's always that risk he could revert back to that depending on how the game plan goes. Woods is safer. T.Y.'s got more upside. I have Woods a couple spots higher, so if I'm going based on my rankings, I'm going Woods, but it's very close, and it's very much dependent on if you need upside or not.
Well, I'll make the argument that Woods has more upside anyways. If you look at the 3 games before last week, and last week was a downer with 8 points, 5 catches for 30 yards against New England, but if you look at the games before that, he had 15 targets, 12 targets, then 11 targets. If you're talking about a good offense and seeing a ton of targets and a ton of end zone potential with those targets, I mean, Robert Woods is the guy to go put in your lineup, and he could score a ton.
T.Y. has more upside. I think given this matchup, T.Y. has a higher chance of getting 20-plus points than Robert Woods. I think he has a little bit of a higher chance of booming. Woods, that's not saying Woods can't boom. They're very close. Woods has been very, very good this season.
Listen, you can't count a blowout in your head until it actually happens. So the Rams have not put up any points as of right now against the Jets. They're going to need to score to get up in this game to then run the ball, run the clock out, and win this game. So I definitely think Woods will be the play here. I think he'll have to get involved early and often for the Rams to get up and then just get out of there with a win. Next question here. Oh, we answered this one already.
Oh, we did?
Yep.
All right. Oh, give me a sec. Sorry, I got lost. There we go.
Moving on here. Mark Andrews, Antonio Brown, or Marquise Brown as flex PPR. Thank you. I'm going to go with Mark Andrews there. I know, Jack, you're the Antonio Brown guy here. You said it, though. A lot of guys there. Mark Andrews is a top target for Lamar. Lamar's been playing great lately. He goes up against Jacksonville. Must-win matchup here for the Ravens. I could definitely see Andrews getting back on track with a touchdown today and at least 60 receiving yards.
No, I'll agree with you here. Mark Andrews has been one of my favorite tight ends all year, and I know he's had some down games here and there. But if Lamar's on track, and this is against Jacksonville, who he should absolutely eat against, then absolutely fine with Mark Andrews being the call here.
Yep.
Next question here. Browns defense versus the Giants or Baltimore defense against Jacksonville. Don't think you could go wrong with either one there. I do think the Browns are going to decimate the Giants tonight, so I'll go with their defense, but I don't know what you guys think.
That's fine by me. I agree. Backup quarterback, Colt McCoy. He's fine. He's a good backup quarterback, but overall still backup.
He's a mediocre backup quarterback. Browns defense is fine. You can't go wrong either way.
Next question here. Gus Edwards, DeAndre Washington, Jeff Wilson, T. Higgins, Rashard Higgins, DJ Chark, or Russell Gage need one in standard league for a flex option. If you need one in standard, I'm going Jeff Wilson 10 times out of 10.
I'd agree with that.
Touchdown potential.
Answered that one.
Okay.
MT messed up my team. I know. He messed up a lot of teams. Hate that. Pittman or Hansen or Traquan Smith. Chad Hansen. Chad Hansen is the play. 100% right there.
I agree with that. My rankings back that up. I think Chad Hansen's who you're going to go with in that one. He's been good.
He's been great. He's been great.
He's been good. I'd go with Chad Hansen.
Matthew Stafford or Drew Brees. Brees has a tough matchup, but he's the play here 100%. Stafford playing so hurt. Yeah, I know. I can't believe he's stuffing this out.
I cannot believe I dropped him so far in my quarterback rankings. Drew Brees is absolutely who you have to go with. Stafford, I don't know how he's going to play.
Brees is a top 15 option, I think, this week, especially coming back into a matchup like this. 100%.
I mean, not having Michael Thomas hurts him a bit, but I mean,
but you know, if this is the Brees that we know from the past few years, he'll dump it off to Kamara. Kamara will get 14 yards per play, end up scoring a few receiving touchdowns, and Brees will end up as a top 12 quarterback play. Should I trust David Johnson or Clyde Edwards-Lair? I assume that's Clyde. I started Derek Carr, and I'm in trouble. What should I do? I know. I started Carr too. It's a tough world. Mariota had a great game, so I wouldn't expect anything less from Carr if he finished out that game. Personally, if you need the upside here, I don't trust David Johnson to get more than 10 points, to be honest, today, especially in a tough matchup and a game script that's definitely not going to be in his favor. I'd go with Clyde. Clyde got majority of rushing attempts last week again. He was pretty ineffective, only 2-point-something yards per carry. But if he sees that again today, I know the Saints aren't the best of defenses either, or a tough defense, not the best of defenses to go up against for the running back position. But I'd still go Clyde for the potential to get in the end zone more than David Johnson.
Yeah, if you need an upside game here, David Johnson hasn't scored over 20 points once once in a game this entire season. So overall, you need Clyde Edwards-Lair to have a big game in this one. You got to count on him getting in the end zone. I don't think David Johnson gets in the end zone more than once, and if he does, it's going to be twice, and it's not going to be for a ton of yardage. He only had 10 carries for 44 yards last time he played against Indianapolis, and that was the last game that he played. And so overall, yeah, I think it's got to be Clyde Edwards-Lair.
For upside, you're going Clyde. I think David Johnson has a higher chance of getting over 10 points, but Clyde has a higher chance of getting over 20.
All right, next question here. Need one wide receiver, 2 running backs, and 2 flex out of McLaurin, Kupp, Claypool, Bourne, David Johnson, Swift, Connor, Sony, Bowden. And this is a standard league. So 1 wide receiver, I'll go with Terry McLaurin.
Yep.
For 2 running backs, I will go with Swift and David Johnson. And then for 2 flex, I will go with Kupp. And in standard, I will go with Connor.
Yep, I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
Perfect. Drake or Akers in flex playing Cook. Oh, we did this one already. I recognize that question. Need help, please. Standard flex spot. Carson, Fournette, Kiki, McKissick. I like Kiki. In standard, I don't, especially for a flex spot. I tend to be a running back. Carson is in a tough spot today, but I still think he's the play there.
I would agree. I think it's got to be Carson. You look at the carry numbers and the yardage totals, 12 carries for 76 yards last week. That was against the Jets, so pretty easy matchup there. But overall, he's gaining touches. He's getting in the end zone, and he's been way too productive with his carries not to put him in your lineup.
Yep.
Oh, we got breaking news right here from Ian Rappaport. He just tweeted that the Dolphins will not have Mike Gesicki, Devontae Parker, or Jakeem Grant today, which means this very well could be a Lynn Bowden day. I think he's got to move up significantly in our rankings at this point.
Lynn Bowden is a stud. I love Lynn Bowden today. Start him above Zeke today. I'm starting him above Zeke today.
Yeah, I think that's the player right there. He's got the running back and wide receiver eligibility. I know we don't have too much time left. If you want to hear more about Lynn Bowden and where we think he should go, you can join us over on Locker Room in a few minutes right after this. You can download the app on the App Store right now. Join us in the Fantasy Football channel. We'll get to all your questions on there. We'll get to a few more right here. Need one, Engram or Goddard? I'll go with Goddard on that one. Again, don't really love Engram's spot today. Gesicki, if he plays, well, he's out now. So Logan Thomas or Irv Smith. I'd go with Irv on this one. Listen, Irv led the team last week in receiving yards. Rudolph is out today. The Bears are a top 5 bottom defense against the tight end position in fantasy this year. I think Irv Smith could have a big day, and I'm considering currently starting him over Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, I think that's understandable. He had 4 catches for 63 yards, got in the end zone last week, Irv Smith did. So he had a really nice game. I'm a little bit hesitant to put him over Logan Thomas just against
I don't know. I think I'm 100%
Look,
confident
I
over
still
Thomas.
have Logan Thomas above Irv Smith right now, but that was when Alex Smith was playing. I haven't updated it since Dwayne Haskins has been named the starter, and so they're going to get quite close now. I'll go with you, Shane. I don't really have a gut feeling one way or the other. So if you're really confident it's going to be Irv Smith, I'll go with Irv Smith.
Alrighty. Next question here, Godwin or Juju? I've got them close. Still Steelers using Juju as a tight end, which is semi-concerning still, but he's getting the targets and the yards and the touchdowns. So I think Juju's the play here.
I agree. I have him close too. I have him right back to back. So I think it's Juju.
Yep, I agree.
Can't go wrong, though. Alrighty. Next question here. Corey Davis has 30-point game more recently than Lockett. Ceilings may not be that different. True. Yeah, and Lockett has that tougher matchup today, so you never know. Thomas, Irv, or Gesicki? I think we just answered this one. We're going to go with Irv. Consensus here. Corey Davis or Lockett? Yeah, I mean, they're close. I still have Davis above him, though. I have Davis the highest there.
I do as well.
Few more questions here. Mostert, Sanders, or Montgomery? Got to be Monty. It's got to be Monty. The past 3 games, this man's been on fire.
And he's going to continue that this week.
Answered that one already. Come on, tight end's not that important of a position. More upside versus the Bears today. Thielen or Jefferson? Last time the Bears, who had Jefferson down this week? I saw someone had the Bears down.
That was me. Yeah, I had Jefferson down. So the Bears are missing 2 of their starters on defense. They're missing Jalen Johnson and Buster Screen. So it gets a little bit tricky because those are 2 key players in their secondary. The question is, who does Kyle Fuller cover? Because
he's going to be
on somebody. It brings him down a bit. Thielen had 2 touchdowns in the last game against the Bears. Jefferson had over 100 yards. Except Jefferson torched the Bears, and it did not look good. My idea going in, and this is why I had Jefferson down, right now this Bears team, the defense especially, is playing with a little bit more of an edge. There's no way I think Kyle Fuller gets torched twice by the same receiver for over 100 yards. And that's just something that hasn't happened to him all year. I think Fuller plays on Jefferson, and I think Jefferson has a really tough time in this game overall. I think Thielen still has higher upside. Jefferson could have huge yardage, but overall, I think Thielen has better end zone.
Thielen's red zone target share has been so high this season. Yep. If you're talking upside and touchdown ability, Thielen is absolutely the play.
Thielen's always the right answer in my mind. I don't think you could ever, at least at this point, put Jefferson above him week in and week out.
You can't.
All right, last 2 questions here. Michel or Connor? It's Connor. Connor. Don't really trust Michel right now. And then last question here. Need 1 wide receiver, 2 flex. Ayuk, Lockett, Boyd, Akers, Swift, or Jeff Wilson. 1 wide receiver there. I'll go with Ayuk. 2 flex. I'll go with Akers and Swift.
Yep, I agree with all that.
All righty, that's going to do it for us here on YouTube. Again, join us on Locker Room, guys. We got a great show that we do over there Sunday mornings. We can continue to answer all of your guys' questions. Get your lineup set and ready for Week 15, the semifinals. And if we don't see you there, good luck this week for the chemist Jack McGrath, Spitfire Lucas Parrish. I am the King of Trade, Shane Palma. So long.